hot.
Weather information you can plan on, only on the Weather Channel. This is WeatherScope.
Two areas of low pressure, one moving across the Great Lakes area, the second off the mid-Atlantic coast, are bringing mixed precipitation. Good evening. Welcome to this edition of WeatherScope. I'm Lisa Moser. This may not be the end of it. Another system may bring more wintry weather to the region by the end of the week. And with more on the situation in the Forecast Center, Janetta Jones. Good evening, Janetta.
Good evening, Lisa. Thanks a lot. We are watching what's happening in the Northeast. Things are tapering down for you in Chicago as well as Detroit, but places like New York State and on into Connecticut and Massachusetts, well, it's a different story. Let's show you some pictures out of southern New England, and this is what it has been looking like today. The snow has been coming down in Chatham, New Jersey. Snow began falling around 11 this morning, then got heavier this afternoon. The snow is not causing too many problems on the roadways, but there are some slick spots. So be extra careful as you're out and about on the roadways. I'm sure rush hour traffic has been a bit of a headache for a lot of folks. I'm joined now by Tom Moore, our senior meteorologist here at the Weather Channel. And you've been tracking this storm, and actually we've got not one but two lows that you're having to watch.
We had one low come out of Colorado, the Midwest, and into the Great Lakes. Then a second area of low pressure formed during the day off the middle Atlantic coast.
Okay, so let's show folks the radar. You can give us an idea of where the rain is. Actually, we've seen everything today. Rain, sleet, snow, you name it, we've got it.
A little bit of hail, too.
Yeah, that's right.
West Virginia, right. Well, if we look at the radar, a couple of things here. First of all, the action seems to be moving more toward southern New England and the New York City area. We got an awful lot of snow in western New York State, where the air was lifted quite a bit, the moist air. So we had plenty of snow in Buffalo and Rochester, New York, down into the southern tier. But northwest winds aloft and higher pressure is almost making a barrier right here. The snow really can't make it too far north of the New York State Thruway when we move into eastern portions of New York State. And indeed, most of the precipitation is in the Hudson Valley at the current time.
Okay, as we look at the current surface map, you can see where both of the lows are. Now, this secondary low that formed along the coast, probably going to move on out, right?
That's the way it looks right now. Initially, a couple of days ago, there were some indications the low would move up off the New England coast and bring a significant snowfall here. But instead, this low is going to move out to sea, which is good news for places like Boston, because we're really not going to see too much in the way of snow there. But parts of southern New England, including Hartford and Providence, picking up some decent snow, although Providence is above freezing, and the lower Hudson Valley around Poughkeepsie in New York State, and areas of northwestern New Jersey or away from New York City, picking up some accumulating snow. but a little bit of a mixture, as you pointed out, Janetta, right around the New York City area, but no appreciable accumulations on the roadways.
Okay, so that's very good news and a sigh of relief for folks in Boston that they're not going to get that heavy snow event, at least not this time. Now, as we take a closer up viewpoint of New York City, Philadelphia has actually been pretty lucky this time, right?
Right, they've been lucky, mostly rain during the day, a few sleet pellets mixed in the northern sections of Philadelphia, but no travel problems. And as we move over to Long Island, notice these red and yellow colors. You would think there is heavier precipitation here, but actually what this could be, or probably is, are ice pellets. And ice, the radar beam can't penetrate through, so it has a greater reflectivity. So many times ice pellets show up in the darker colors. That's probably what we're seeing in Long Island Sound.
Quick peek at the forecast. It's winding down in Michigan, but probably going to see about 6 to 12 more inches of snow.
Right, we're really going to wind down in here and focus our attention on the Catskill Mountains, lower Hudson Valley, over into the hills of Connecticut, the southern Berkshires, and anywhere just south of Boston, say just to the north of Providence, Rhode Island. So there could be some slippery conditions by morning for commuters outside of New York City, especially up into southern New England.
Looking much better in Chicago, Detroit tapering off for you guys. In fact, I have a closer viewpoint of Detroit in just a moment. At times this afternoon, Detroit seeing heavy snowfall. I think you mentioned about 9 inches of snow near Lansing.
Right in here about 9 inches, 5 or 6 inches here. It's all over with shoveling now in Michigan as our focus of attention moves toward extreme southern New England.
Okay, and we'll keep an eye on that. Thank you so much, Tom Moore, for that update. Well, we will check in with the studio in just a moment. Want to remind everyone, if you're interested, you can check in on weather.com on the internet on your computer. Now back to the studio and Lisa.
Thanks, Janetta, for your closer look at that winter weather. We have a cold front also that has caused some severe weather in the deep south parts of Florida. Saw some showers and thunderstorms and even some tornadoes. 2, possibly 3 tornadoes touched down in North Florida this morning. In Garden City, the twister uprooted trees, damaged some mobile homes, and downed power lines. And unfortunately, 3 horses were reported to have been killed when a live wire struck a metal fence where the horses were standing. And we take a look at the forecast for Florida. You'll notice that we still have the possibility as we head into the evening hours of more showers, possible thunderstorms. Some of these thunderstorms could cause some wind damage with the thunderstorms approaching that intense intensity. So we still have that orange and yellow coloring, orange and red coloring indicating that. We have the frontal boundary draping across North Florida. Temperatures behind the front over the panhandle have been mainly in the 70s this afternoon, but we've seen lots of 80s across the southern areas of Florida. That's all that warm juice that's helping to fuel the situation. Very unstable conditions right now in and around the Melbourne area. These thunderstorms have not been severe, but certainly some strong thunder.